The end of Season 2 is here, the end of the Stone Wars, but that does not mean the end of Dr. Stone, thank goodness. But with that said, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our final Dr. Stone Season 2 discussion video. Today we're here to talk all about Episode 11, Prologue of Dr. Stone. But before we do that, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. And just as a heads up, the end of Dr. Stone does not mean, and the end of the winter season does not mean that you have to unsub. If you enjoy the channel, if you liked watching these, I'm probably going to be talking about something you're watching next season, and even if you're not, I'm going to start doing a weekly news roundup so you guys can still at least hang out and enjoy the channel. I'll get you caught up on all the anime and video game news and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, stay subbed if you're already subbed. Don't leave. Stay. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this week's video. And I want to start by talking about probably the saddest thing to me. I want to talk about Tsukasa's exit. Because for all intents and purposes, he is out of the show for the next while, right? Considering where we're going, I can't see Tsukasa coming back into Dr. Stone for a long while. And while that might be a bit of a bummer for some, and I am absolutely going to miss him as a character, I think Tsukasa brings so much to the show. But considering the amount of enjoyable, fun, and interesting characters that we have now, you can lose Tsukasa and it's not going to feel like a huge loss. And the way that they end his story arc for now, not forever, just for now, the way it ends, I think, is just perfect. I couldn't have thought up a better temporary stop for the character, because I do feel like we'll probably see him again, but not for a long time. And I think the idea that he is essentially killed, quote unquote, by Senku, and Senku saying I have to, in order for me to save you, I have to kill you. Right? And Tsukasa's just you know what? I killed you once. This is just payback, right? And Senku's aha! My revenge, right? Because they have to kind of laugh about it. And they even give this man a surgery without anesthesia, and they freak everybody out because both of them are yeah, we can do this. The creepy Dr. Stone faces. They do that. And it's hilarious, and I love it every time. But, yes, Tsukasa basically is put on ice, and it is the saddest thing I have ever seen. Well, okay, that's a stretch, but it's one of the saddest things I've seen this entire anime season. Seeing Tsukasa laying on his deathbed, knowing this is probably it, because he says you guys are aware that I know my body more than anybody. I don't need to be a scientist to know what's going on. I'm not gonna make it. This is it. I got stabbed clean through. Even if you sew me up, I'm still gonna die from internal injuries and infections. It's not, it's over. Tsukasa's pretty much come to terms with the idea that yeah, I'm probably going out. This is probably it. And it breaks my heart just because Mirai just got back, right? And Kaseki points out that mentally, even though she's thousands of years old and in the body of, I don't remember how old she's supposed to be in terms of her physical appearance, but mentally, when she went to sleep, right, when she went unconscious, she was about 6. So Kaseki says she has the mentality of a 6-year-old, so you have to be kind of chill around her, right? You have to be sort of more parental around her, which is kind of crazy, right? And the fact that she finally wakes up, and after all this time, and only gets a few days because of friggin' Hyoga, is sad, it's a bummer, to see her sort of her lean over the refrigerator. I wish I had a better name for it, but lean over the deep freeze, right? And just say you watched me for as long as you have. I'm gonna watch over you now, even if it's forever. And that's so sweet, right? Just the idea that they at least get that moment. And Tsukasa just is in this state where he's aware he lost, and he's sort of like letting the burden of all the things he's done sort of wash over him. And there's this scene where he's talking with someone, I believe it's Ukyo, and they ask him, like, do you really know where, like, every statue you broke is? Because he's saying, like, I'm gonna die, you have to know this before the end. Like, I have to tell you where all the broken statues are, right? So that maybe, just maybe, Yuzuriha can, like, put them back together, right? With the help of Yo, of all people, by the way. We'll get into Yo later. Spoilers, I like Yo now, because he's my type of character, where he's, like, the bully turned buddy. We'll get into Yo later, but Tsukasa basically is like, maybe Yuzuriha and the gang can fix them and put them back together. And again, I believe it's Ukyo who says, like, why? Like, do you really know where they all are? And he's like, of course. Like, I've literally never forgotten a single one I've broken. And to me, it just hammers home that Tsukasa never really liked breaking the statues, because breaking the statues was essentially killing these people, and that was never something he found fun. You know, like, that's not something he enjoyed doing. It's something he did because he felt like that was the way to protect this new stone world, right? Like, to protect this world was to take out the people he felt were only going to corrupt it. And he knows now that that was a step too far, you know? And in his final moments, he gets to just, you know, unleash those feelings and tell Senku, you know, how he feels and all this stuff. And they get to just talk like friends at the end, and I'm getting emotional. It's the two of them talking at the end with the like Until We Meet Again song playing, and like he gives them the friggin' like the bracelet and everything, and they close the lid, and that's it. And it messed me up. And it's such a silly conversation because they're just talking about nothing, and we cut to the friggin' hut from season 1. I'm so emotional right now. We cut to the hut from season 1, and they're just talking about stupid crap, and yet it hurts. Like, it hurts my soul to think about, because like you cut to the hut from season 1, and you remember how it all begins, and you hear them just like laughing about the time they tried to eat the friggin' tiger that attacked them, or the lion, and Senku talks about how like the mushrooms that they ate were modeled after the ones from Mario, and that technically the ones that Mario eats would means that Mario's just tripping balls. So when Mario gets big, he's just tripping balls. He's the same height, which is forever gonna ruin Mario for me. But God, that scene just killed me. And it's the soundtrack plus just the voice acting and the perfect exit for the character. I have to stress that Tsukasa is probably one of my favorite antagonists I have ever come across. Like, I think Tsukasa is such a brilliant shonen, like, antagonist, you know? Like, and Senku, to his credit, is one of the most brilliant shonen protagonists I've seen. Like, and we've gotten some great ones, you know? Like, especially most recently with Itadori, like, shonen protagonists are really growing in tremendous ways, and I feel like it only makes sense that antagonists like Tsukasa are coming along that are not only just compelling, but they're also, like, you understand them, and you sympathize with them, and you can feel the impact of their loss on the show, and you really feel it for Tsukasa. And I'm sorry that I rambled on, but I had to talk about Tsukasa's exit, because to me, it's huge. But judging by what you probably saw in the thumbnail, you know that this is not the end of the journey. I don't know who I'm going to use. Probably Chrome, just because I think Chrome's pose will work best for the thumbnail. I wanted to use Senku's, but, you know, it'd be like that. So, no more feeling sad. Pick yourselves up. We're going to talk about something hype. We're going to talk about the best part. So, this episode ends basically with the setup for Season 3. And we got the announcement of Season 3 already confirmed. So we're getting Dr. Stone something or other. Dr. Stone, One Piece. No. Dr. Stone, the Straw Hats. No. But it's basically Dr. Stone, like the world exploration, right? Like they're beginning to explore. And the reason for that is because Senku puts Tsukasa on ice specifically so that he can try to petrify him and then bring him back, which would cure him, right? So in order to do that, they need to figure out what caused the petrification in the first place. Was it man-made? Was it Earth itself? Like, what happened? Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? Like, something happened. And so they have to figure out what it is. Using the knowledge from Byakuya and the squad to figure out, they're like, okay, so we know where it started. But where it started is on the other side of the friggin' planet. So we have to sail the ocean blue in order to get there. Which means the next course of action is to build a ship, form a crew, and head off. Now, I am of two minds about this, because are they really bringing the entire cast? Probably not. Probably somebody's gonna get left behind. I don't quite know who. And it's funny because Senku asks, like, if you could bring a squad with you on, like, a trip to space, who would you bring? And he says Taiju and Chrome, which I thought was really interesting. So I have to assume that the people we see in the like on the ship when they're talking, who all get like pirate outfits, I have to assume that that's the team. So like of the new people, we'd get Nikki, Ukyo, and Yo, who I'm going to talk about in a second. Taiju, Yuzuriha, Gen, Chrome, Kohaku, Kaseki. I think Suika was there, but I don't think it makes sense for Suika to go. I mean, I'd like her to be there, but I think it makes sense for her to stay with, like, Ruri and stuff like that. There has to be some characters who stay, right? Like, Kinro and Ginro should be on the boat. Like, I think Kinro and Ginro were there. I think it makes sense for them to go because they're, you know, they're the two spearmen. I think it makes sense to leave certain characters on the, like, in Ishigami Village and the Tsukasa Empire, just to keep those two spaces occupied, just in case anything happens. I doubt anything would happen. It's not like anybody else is awake, to my knowledge. I don't know if that's true. Don't say anything, manga fans. But I think it makes sense to leave some people there just to be safe. But I don't know who you would. I don't really want to split the group up either, you know? So that's why I'm sort of two minds, where I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I really don't assume that Ruri is going. I feel like Ruri's gonna stay. Probably her old man will stay, the white-haired character who always hangs out with Ruri's dad. I think, like, they'll stay. So it's like, that's enough, right? Like, don't leave Magma there either, because I really like Magma as well. But Magma and Yo are the two characters who I started off hating, and by the end I'm like, I love these two. Because again, when I say that, like, I love the snotty, douchey characters who become the nice, who have like those are my favorites, right? Like, for season 5 of My Hero, which is coming out soon, one of my favorite characters in the whole series is Monoma from Class 1B. I love that kid. The reason why is because he's an asshole, and he's such a snobby douche, right? In the same way, like, Gen's a snobby douche, right? But the thing is, he, at least, like, you get it. Like, he's still, there's this part of him that's, like, a good person. You know, like, he wouldn't be a hero otherwise. So that's what I need, right? So with Yo, when Yo comes back, it is like, I'll team up with you guys. So the fact that he just, like, joins the good guys, it is like, I'm here now. Like, that tells me, I'm like, okay, we are beginning the Yo redemption arc, and I'm here for it. So I believe he even calls himself at one point Yokun-sama. Yokun-sama? Like, all right. I like Yo now. Like Yo really grew on me. And I am so excited for this next big journey, right? Because the other thing that my boy Shonen Oji told me, shoutouts to my boy Shonen Oji. I'm actually probably going to, in fact, I will be in a video with Shonen Oji, which you guys should check out. I'll tweet about it, and I'll put it on the community tab once it comes out. But my boy Shonen Oji told me that there's going to be a character coming up who is going to be, like, the best, right? So I'm like, okay, like, he's, like, one of the chadliest characters in all of Dr. Stone. No spoilers or nothing, but it's the guy you see at the end. So apparently the guy at the end is everybody saying, like, this dude is awesome. Like, when you see this guy, you're gonna love him. So it's like, okay, so we are going to stumble across new characters. So it's not like they're gonna sail out there and find just remnants of the old world and maybe, like, fight animals or something. Like, no, there's going to be some kind of conflict when they go out to the sea. I don't know what it's going to be, though, because, like, so if they go out into the world and they're trying to figure out the cause of petrification, does that mean they're, like, if it's man-made, do you think the person who did it still out there, you know? Like, did you think he was petrified and then also woke up around the same time? I don't know. Am I excited to find out? Friggin' absolutely. I can't wait. I'm sort of torn because I'm so excited because this is such a cool idea, and just having the crew go full One Piece is so dope. And if there's not a One Piece reference next season, I'm gonna be pissed because you've already referenced both Super Mario and Dragon Ball. And the fact that you can, and they make a lot of references in Dr. Stone, which is probably why I like it so much. But they're a Shonen Jump series, so you can reference One Piece and not be in trouble. So I better get my One Piece reference at some point next season. Imagine if, like, We Are is the opening. We Are! Just One Piece characters, but it's the We Are opening. I mean, Dr. Stone characters, but it's the One Piece opening. Jeez, I'm stumbling over my words. Now's a good time to end the video. So with that said, everybody, that is going to wrap up today's video here, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here, and without further ado, before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at these beautiful names, and I know what you're thinking. You might be asking, JoJo, how do I get my name to float across the screen with these beautiful people? Well, I will tell you. The way you do that is by hitting that Patreon link in the description. It's a single $1, and it helps out the channel immensely, and it gets your name in these credits. So if you wanted to join the T Squadron, that's probably the best way. You can also hit the join button. It's a little bit extra. You get some emotes and a badge next to your name. If that sounds cool, go ahead and hit the join button, or you can check out the Patreon link. Either way, super appreciated. And once again, just a big thank you to the T Squadron, and a big thank you to all of you guys for enjoying the Dr. Stone videos. I love this series. Does it do the same numbers as other series? No, but I don't care. I love talking about Dr. Stone. I will always talk about Dr. Stone. And yeah, that's it. So anyway, bye!